So hello everyone and welcome. I kind of hope you can hear me and I hope to get a confirmation of that. And you're not watching a screensaver, but you're live in my neighborhood. I will stand in front of the camera so you know I'm here. Hello there. There are bunch of dogs running around here, but we are in Prague. Even though it looks like we're in the middle of a field, this is where I live. And I was trying to keep my home a privacy most of the time, but I feel like I should share it with you because I do share with you a lot of things. So this is live right now. I hope everything's working fine. If not, I will read it in a minute from over the phone. And let me take you for a short walk before the sun sets. Just a minute ago, there was this most beautiful sunlight here with a long shadow. So you guys missed that, but I didn't feel like starting it before the proper time. Oh no, he's gonna, oh no, no. Okay, good. You could have seen this was live. So the dog almost ate our little cam here, but now let me take you for the promised walk. We are in an area called Dívčí hrady. It is called, which means women's castles. And the reason for that is that this was actually, oops, having some issue with the gimbal here. All right, here we go. That there used to be a castle in sort of that direction. If we're out of focus, I'm trying to work something here. Further out that way, there's still Prague behind that hill. And right now you can partially see the fencing here because the city is building a fence to put out, believe it or not, horses. It's something called Převalský horse. I looked it up what it is in English. In Czech it's převalského koně, převalský kůň. So those will be running around here shortly. Dobrý den. Being attacked by a dog here. And this right now is what I mentioned with the long shadows when the sun comes out. We will take a short walk through the forest and to the end of the hill where there's a beautiful view of Prague, even better, that you're looking at right now. And the most dominant thing here is this tower. And it is a water tower, this one you're looking at. It was built by a famous architect. And there's a lot of scaffolding on the top, which are antennas. And there, if you kind of look at it, there was a white H on top of it, which when I was a kid, I thought it meant a hydrant, as in, you know, a water hydrant. But no, it was a first letter of the last name of the architect who built it, which was Karel Hubáček. He also built the famous TV tower on top of one of the Czech mountains, which is called Ještěd, and we always tell you about. Let me one more time show you the beautiful shadow or shade that I'm casting, I believe is the right word. So let's walk. This used to be fields back in the day, so not that long ago. When I was a kid, or maybe even a couple of years ago, these were still fields that were used by the city, but nowadays it's just grass, and there's a bunch of playgrounds. There's a volleyball playground over there, and mostly it's just people walking around here, and it is a lovely neighborhood. My house is further out that way. I refer to it as my house, but it's after my grandmother, great-grandmother. And so I do live there, and it, when I look at old pictures, aerial pictures, it was one of the first houses in the street back in 1930. Let me pan around here. Honza lives further out that way, as I mentioned, so maybe one day he can do a live stream from his neighborhood. Prague is big. If you look at a map of Prague and you zoom out on the satellite from the city center, I live in the left bottom of the map you would be looking at. This is basically the first big nature area you can see. I'm not seeing many people writing in the chat, but I do hope everything is working fine in terms of sound and quality. And since it's just me and you guys here, feel free to chat. That's what I'm here for. Somebody just mentioned, James, that it's called Radlice, this area also. It's different namings here. And Radlická is the metro station that is nearby. I did some research on the area because I felt like I should give you some info. And I'm really sorry I'm switching the cameras back and forth, but this is just too lovely not to share it with you. Look at that. I love this. I mean, don't I live in a lovely neighborhood? So about the research, and don't worry, you'll get a lot of Prague. So the area, as I said, is called Women's Castles, and there really was a castle back in the 14th century. It was built by Stepan from the town of Tetín, and there's very, very little info about it. So if we ever do a proper episode with Honza about this area, I think we should look it up more and see what we can dig out about the castle that was here. What happened to your voice on the latest video? That's a long story. So it's mostly recreational area here. People come here from around the city for walks and biking, and this is my running circle. So whenever I run, and if you see pictures from my run, I always take a picture here, because usually this is the hour I go for a run, and it creates these beautiful shadows. So I always jump on this path here. And apparently it's Cohen's birthday. So Cohen, who's our Patreon, happy birthday to you. This whole circle, you can walk around this entire area, and that's my 5K run. You get beautiful views from the entire run. You partially run through the woods, partially through the fields. And once we reach the end of this pathway, we're gonna end up on the best view. Further out that way, you can see a lot of apartment buildings, and that's where most of people of Prague live. Do you get missing person stories in Czech forest like us parks, or is it safe even at night? So the most dangerous thing you can come across in this forest is me and my dad, because let this stay among us, because I'm sure that was not completely legal, but we did bury my dog that died and my cat in this forest. So we were walking here at night with shovels, digging up a hole, and it definitely didn't look safe. As I mentioned, runners in this area, a lot of them, because it is a great area. And your dad jokes are terrible. I know, I do know that, I'm getting old. If you do want to visit here, you just take the yellow metro line to a station called Radlická, or you can take some trams here, and then it's just, a 20-minute walk. So right now I'm about 15 minutes from the metro, and you can be in this beautiful nature park. We have mentioned this area multiple times with Honza on our videos, because we did running here, obviously. And about the Blue Tower, a lot of people dislike it, and somebody mentioned you could see it from your window. So yes, if you're in Prague, most likely you will see it. And I didn't tell you enough about it. Let me give you more info. It's a water tower. It's a leveling tower, and it's not used. It's a backup tower. And my entire life I'm looking at it, and I've never been on top of it. So it was my dream. And when I became a friend with a guy who works for the city and who is capable of getting us to places with our camera, I asked him, can you get me on top of that tower? And he said, let me try. And he did. So I was able to be on top of that tower, which was absolutely amazing. The inside is even more beautiful than the outside. and there's this beautiful triangle staircase inside. There's a guy who takes care of it. He told us that he does go up a lot, especially for New Year's Eve when there's a lot of fireworks around. I'll switch the camera once again so you don't have to look at my silly face. Look at that beautiful sunset going on. And somebody's mentioning my two friends that used the tower for a TV shoot. Well, you can guess who got them up there. Stepan is asking me about photos from the tower. I do have a lot. Stepan, if you write me on my personal Instagram, I can share them with you there. There's a lot of runners here. I'm trying to save the best for last, so I'm not really showing you the view of the actual city just yet. So let me see what you guys are writing. What do you think is the most underrated place in Prague? Here you go. That's it. Because not too many people come here. But it's changing. Because of the horse, because of the Prague Zoo putting up the fences where they will put the horse, a lot of people are discovering this place and coming here. Which does cause some trouble for the locals like I am. Because there's no parking spaces for them, and I feel like people should, use the public transport to get here. So yes, me making videos about tourism will eventually get the most tourists in the city for this new tourist attraction. But I think that's great, and I think the use of the space here is really good in this case. There were plans to build buildings here. Actually, the Charles University was supposed to build here a big campus. I did find some info, and there was a plan to build a funicular up here from down the area where the metro station is. So if you guys are Czechs, this may surprise you, but there were such plans. Greetings from Montenegro. Hope you take your MX-5 for another road trip. Montenegro was a place where I did a road trip, so that's what you were referring to. I actually don't have any video from that. We're coming across an area where a lot of Czech films were made. We did do a video in Czech with Honzik where we showed these famous spots. I'm really afraid I'm going to run into like a neighbor and he will want to start talking to me. So if that happens, I'm sorry. And obviously the name of this live stream is The Best View of Prague. And the reason it's named that is because this is the best view for me. And as you know, this guide we're making is very personal. So if we say something's best, it's according to us, definitely not according to the majority of people living in Prague. So here's a little Ireland type land. And this is whenever I take friends here, I'll always tell them to put their head down here. Ooh, I'm running down, I'm gonna fall this for sure. Because here, suddenly this hill will unveil what you've been waiting for the past 13 minutes if you've been around, and that is the best view of Prague. So if you just joined, this is what you came for. And of course it's better than any view you saw before. At least according to me. So here we are, my absolutely favorite view of Prague because it's in my home, it's in my neighborhood. So I'm not going to point directly to my house, but it's somewhere here. That's where I live. And here we're looking, you can partially see the Prague Castle, so I will do a little, I hope the sound is okay because it's kind of windy here. So there you can see, Petřín Tower, Prague Castle. We're going down. You can see some of the bridges, National Theatre, Palackého most, Railroad Bridge. You can see the Teen Church. Further way back, you can see Bohnice and some other parts of the city. You can see the, there's National Museum. This is Vyšehrad. We're moving on. Náměstí Míru, people in Vinohrady, Žižkov, the Žižkov TV tower, the famous rocket, ready to launch. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ! Don't you ever dare do that to me! Ever! Oh my God, I'm just so much gonna kill you now! Don't you know about social distancing? Did you run here?
Just the last bit.
I was like, I knew somebody may come up, but not you. Ciao.
Ciao. I'm gonna take it.
Ne. Tak počkej. That's Honza, by the way. I don't know if you know him. And then we're gonna move to your neighborhood? I had such a calm and peaceful moment showing the city, and then
I was
this...
listening to. I was.
Is the sound okay?
Yeah.
Honzičku. Wait, let's go to the sun. So you walked from home?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where I was saying that Honza lives nearby. The wind is gonna blow in the... yeah, but so I was at the Žižkov TV tower, which is the rocket ready to launch. Under it, you can partially see the Nuselský most, which is the bridge. And if you, like Cohen, if you're a subscriber or a Patreon, you know the mini guides where we do tiny little guides about little things in Prague. So we made one about that bridge because it's not only a bridge, but it's a tunnel that has a metro inside of it, which makes it really cool. Then to the right, the first skyscraper is a famous hotel, which I believe used to be called Forum. I loved it as a kid. And now I'm trying to mention interesting things. Vrátíš se na Porodnici? Vidíš Porodnici? Below Vyšehrad? That's where I was born. Were you born there as well?
No.
No?
No, it's not.
So I was born in that house. Moving further to the right is Podolská vodárna, the water factory. I was there on an excursion. That's something we should do, man. It's a really cool building. Water facility to clean water that supplies Prague. And the most interesting part of that was that they had fish. Jak se řekne pstruh?
Trout.
Trout, which is the very last check if the water is clean enough that it would be drinkable. And water in Prague is absolutely drinkable. Also, Honziku, since this is honest vlog, if anybody has a comment or a question, I'll be more than happy to talk about it. A teď, now, the interesting one is the chimney that is smoking in the very back. If you can see that, that is the waste plant in Prague called Malešice, and that's where all our garbage is being burned. And the burning creates energy that they use for warming the houses, electricity, and according to them, the smoke coming out of the chimney is cleaner than the air that we're breathing in Prague. I was told that, and I told Honza when we were discussing who we want to do partnership videos with, I told him that we should definitely do it with the services of Prague, because I did a video there way back, and it was super interesting how they burn garbage there. I will get into it a little. And there's this only one door that goes directly to the oven or to the fire, and that is only used by the Czech National Bank if they want to burn old money. They're the only people who have direct access to throw money in. Super interesting. And now the Prague Manhattan, or how would you refer to it, are the skyscrapers you can see there. The tallest one is just shy over 100 meters, I believe. And when I was a kid, it was called the Czech radio tower for the Czech radio. They never used it. I don't know what it's called now, City something. And below it, with the white top, is the Czech TV. That's a giant building. It's huge, and that's where I grew up as a kid, partially because my dad used to work there. Behind it is the newest skyscraper in Prague, which is called V. Has one of the most expensive apartments. I personally cannot imagine somebody would want to live in such a building, but it is their choice. And everybody always refers to it as, that's the place to live. And I always think to myself, have you been around? Have you seen the neighborhood? Like, you really want to live there? Just below it is the famous swimming stadium, which is called Podolí. It is a beautiful architecture and a beautiful place. And to the right of it, by the way, where's the Ferris wheel? That one's... They took it down?
Yeah.
There was a Ferris wheel.
Probably for the winter.
Okay.
Because it was like in November.
Okay. But there's a place called Žluté Lázně, and it's the Prague beach. There are events that are happening there, which are cool, and there's beach volleyball courts, there's a bunch of bars. And there also is where the tram is going now, is where the newest bridge in Prague will be built. So there will be a new bridge called Dvorecký most, and it will be the newest bridge connecting the two parts of Prague. Yellow building, you can see, is the veslaři, nebo jak se jmenují, for the rowing team. They're not headquarters, but it's Dukla Praha, I believe. And I was also filming about that in terms of architecture. I've never been on that rock. Have you ever been up there?
No.
No? I've never been up there, but if you look past it, as I was showing the apartment buildings, that is referred to as Jižní město, the South City, even though it's more east or southeast, and that's where my grandma used to live. And further down, if Honza will stand where I'm standing, you can see the Barandov Bridge, which is the largest, busiest bridge in Prague that we did cross. Did we cross that one on our run? I don't even remember that, dude.
Sure.
Yeah, we ran across it. That's right. Yeah, we did. And then even though, if you look this way, westish, it looks like there's nothing there, that Prague is ending. Well, believe it or not, it is not. First of all, that's where Honza lives. Stodulky, Luka, Lužiny, Zličín is the very last stop of the metro. And that way is Barandov, which is a huge part of Prague with tens of thousands of people living there. So if you think of Prague city center, that's the smaller part. Over there, that's Prague 1 with the castle and ending with the National Museum. But then there are these other parts. Prague is divided into districts and they're numbered. Right now we're in Prague 5, but then Prague 5 is separated into other districts and so on. So yeah, man, I hope you're enjoying the view. Let people enjoy the view for a minute without me talking. To bylo hezký, že jsi přišel. So come here anytime. This is a really good spot. And as you can see, there's nobody here right now, even though it's Friday, kind of nice. It's chilly. In the summer, people hang around here. And once I was here for New Year's Eve. And right here on this spot, there were 4 cop cars parked right here. And the cops were just chilling, watching the fireworks. And then they went back. It's good with the sound. What you're trying there, buddy? No. One more thing here, where you see the yellow train behind me. Honza's playing with the phone. I mean, with the microphone. The yellow train is the Smíchovské nádraží, which is probably the 3rd or 2nd largest train station in Prague. And just past that will be a new development in Prague, which will build. They call it a new city, Smíchov City. So that will be built up over there. And some of these old factories are being turned into apartment buildings. If you are a Czech person and you live in Czech Republic, the building with a little cupola over there, just past the small chimney here, that is Česká správa sociálního zabezpečení, the Czech Social Security Services. And apparently every person in the country has a folder there with their information. And according to information from my grandfather, he had a patient. He was a psychiatrist. He had a patient who got stuck in one of the elevators, checking, because it's a tall building, and when you want to reach for Honza, you got to go to wherever he is. And they got stuck on the elevator and they turned crazy. It's my grandfather's story. I'm really turning into dad jokes. But they do have a Paternoster elevator in the building, and that's a building where I always go to vote. Lovely. What a view. And whenever I was here walking my dog, she would always run here. And there's no fences or anything, and you can really fall down. And once she got lost, and I'm yelling, Nella, Nella, where are you, Nella? And then I look there at the railroad tracks down there, and there she was running. So I'll show you which railroad tracks I'm talking about. So railroad tracks behind me over there are called the Pražský Semering, and these railroad tracks connect to the station that you see on your right. but on your right over there, they connect to it. But the way they connect to it is they're going about 10 kilometers around here just to do the altitude difference of 50 meters. Trains can't go up. Watch a great James May show about why trains cannot climb uphill. So they do this huge circle with many bridges around Prokopské údolí, because that's what I didn't really mention, is if you go further down that way, you go to the Prokop Valley, Prokopské údolí, and we also made a video with Honza there going through the valley, which is, a great place for a nice walk. There are other things that I would like to mention. This is my neighborhood meat factory, one of the best bars down here, great music venue. But if you're in Prague, take a walk here. If you're going to visit, you can take a walk, and we can walk down here now, so we change it a bit. So there's this Czech movie called Občanský průkaz, ID card, and it's about this group of kids that hang around on this hill, and they talk about how they hate communists. And the opening scene of the movie is that they're sitting down here, chilling, and they're saying, "We love going to this spot, but we have to look at the villas of the fucking communists." And I'm like, first of all, my family was never a communist family. I'm not a communist, and we did have a villa there. I mean, don't make us that. But I am really lucky to live here, and that's only thanks to my grandmother, who bought the house here almost 100 years ago. And my friend, who also lives here, his grandfather bought a house here, and when his grandfather bought the house, he didn't want to buy it here, and he said, "I'm not gonna live in some village next to Prague." Well, there you go. Now it's a nice place to live, and obviously one of us is gonna fall. You can place your bets. Tak jestli se s námi ještě chce někdo povídat, tak řekni. Favorite part about living in Prague? Well, since I'm showing you my neighborhood now, I really love the fact that I live in nature, but 20 minutes from now we can be on Old Town Square. It's a 10-minute walk to the metro and 10-minute ride on the metro. Or I can just walk to the city. And I love doing that. I love walking. Honza loves to run. I love to walk. It's the slower version of running. So the fact that I can just walk down the hill and be in the city is it's really cool. The city kind of sucks now because everything is closed, so you can't go to a restaurant or to a pub or to have a coffee. But yeah, this part is really interesting. And I used to do couch surfing at my house, so people would come over, and many of them would tell me that they walked to the city. It's like, you walked? That's really far. And they loved the area because all these villas here, some of them are really nice. And since it's a hilly area, there's always a staircase between the houses. So whoever was designing this neighborhood, realized that it would be a good idea to connect all the streets and connect all these places. And it's funny that if you use Google Maps to navigate around here, Google Maps doesn't know about these staircases. So if I set Google Maps from here down to, the city, it would be like 45 minutes. I'm like, pfft. And whenever I cut the staircase to another street and I refresh the maps, it's like suddenly 20 minutes. So they don't know about that. I love the house with
That would be a cool episode. Things Google Maps don't know.
Things Google Maps don't know would be a good episode. Dude, whenever I get to the main intersection by the tunnels, it's telling me to take a mile detour. And then I cross the crosswalk and suddenly Google's like, oh, okay.
Will you do a video about Malešice?
Malešice. So somebody's asking about the waste plant factory, waste plant. We definitely should. We should write an email to Pražské služby, which is the service taking care of garbage in Prague. And I really admire not only their work, but the facility is very interesting. So I think we should do a video about it and do some ride with the garbage men in the morning. When I told Honza, I said, let's do an afternoon shift. I don't feel like waking up at 3 a.m. to pick up garbage. And that's the only chimney you can see that's smoking right now. Far out, Malešice, Malešická spalovna.
Are you really guys using Google Maps Maps in your own hometown?
We are using Google Maps in my hometown. That was the question, and the reason for that is that it has the schedule for trams and buses and metro, so you can see how things are connecting. And so yeah, I do use Google Maps, but I can trick them. Like I know Google will tell me take this bus and they take this tram, and I'm like, yeah, but I can walk this part and that. So I combine the knowledge of my head and Google.
Why is Prague better than Brno?
Why is Prague better than Brno? And says who? I'm not sure if Prague is better than Brno. Each city has its charm and beauty. And I think Brno has similar parts to Prague in terms of you can be in nature and you can be in the city within a short time. My friends live in a part called Commuting, if I'm not mistaken, which means a chimney. I wasn't sure if that was a joke at first, and there's an airport right next to it, which was pretty cool. By the way, the field where we started is very popular during fall because people are putting up their kites and nice chilling area.
I would like to see your friend architecture to do episode.
You would want to see my friend architect to do an episode? Well, if you want, you are on the channel Honest Guide, Honest Vlog right now, and there are 2 videos with him where I drove with him to Barcelona once and to Lisbon, the other video. It looks like he's not my friend in the videos, but he is. And we also have an episode with Adam on the Honest Guide channel. And if you are Czech or you want to learn Czech, you can go to our Czech channel. My friend is everywhere, apparently. And we did a little walk with him, and we can do it again.
No other questions.
No other questions. Then point the camera to you. And we can say goodbye together. We had a nice half an hour. Honza's hair is much better than mine.
No, it's the wind, because I was running to find you.
So once again, this live stream is only thanks to Honza. I was almost gonna ditch it, and
that would be too bad.
That would be too bad.
You guys should now write in the comments that you want Friday Live to be a regular Friday Live.
We're gonna be live streaming every day. I'm looking at that bloody screen there, the advertisement. It has to be illegal, dude. Has to be illegal. I hate these flashy lights. There was one at the end of the Nusel Bridge, and my neighbor was the one who was always complaining to the city, writing letters, and that's 10 years ago, and they took it down just like last week.
24-hour live stream every Friday.
Not gonna happen. 24 hours live stream every Friday, not gonna happen. But we like to show you the city.
A lot of people are writing that they would love a regular live stream.
Well, you know what? Then give us some topics, maybe. If we can, or I was getting, you know what was my idea for a live stream? You on a tram, me on a bicycle chasing you. Because we have the wireless microphones. I was like, that would be cool. Honza would be in the warm of a tram, and I would be behind him on a bicycle chasing him down. I think we should do some live streams from places that are hard to reach for you. And I think that can be achieved by reaching out to some of our friends who have keys to those places. And when somebody, I don't know if you're still around, when you were asking about the pictures from the water tower, I meant it. So if you write to me or I'll just put them up here. I'll put them up on Instagram of Honest Guide. I'll put up some pictures of the tower so you know what I was talking about. So Real Honest Guide on Instagram. Okay, so if you're watching this later than live, which most likely you are, this was my neighborhood. I live there in one of the houses, and this is the place where I go to running, walking, and where I'm sending you now to go. If you want to reach this place, it's on the yellow metro B line at Radlická, or you take one of those trams down there and you just climb up the hill. The way you recognize it is by the tall blue water tower that is on the top. So if you want to discover this area, that's how it goes. My name is Janek, that's Honza behind the camera. Thanks to everyone who joined, and I'll see you some other time.